Lesson 1-7 functions. So in the previous lesson, we saw how to map them, graph them, tables. So now we want to look at those relationships and we want to identify if they are functions or not. So what is a function? A function is a relationship between input and output. So we're looking at domain and range, our input, our output, and it is a function if there is a one-to-one relationship, meaning one domain is mapped or paired with one range. My one domain can't go to two different range values. It has to be the same number. So we have domain -3 maps to 1, 5, 0 to 3, 2 to 2, 4 to 4. So each of the domain numbers go to exactly one range. For example, I couldn't do this -3 to this 3 because the 0 was already mapped there. That wouldn't be a function. So we'll take a look at some more examples like that. How with a graph can I tell is by using a vertical line test is what we call it. So you could use a vertical line. So if I took a vertical line here and drew a vertical line and then drug it across my paper where my graph is, notice that it never touches the graph and on this vertical line. So you're looking at the vertical line and the graph would never cross the vertical line more than once. One spot only does it cross ever. So that would be a function then because it passes the vertical line test. So determine whether each relationship is a function and then explain. So again, I look at this and I say, okay, -2, that is only going to one range. 0 is only going to one range. 3 is only going to one range. Now, here's the biggest problem that students get confused about. Notice that there are 2 arrows pointing to the 6, but if we go back, look, these are different numbers. So that can happen. You need to remember, domain can only go to one number only. The domain can only go to one number only. If it so happens to be the same number, that's fine, as long as these are different. So you need to really pay attention to that. So, is A a function? Yes, because it is a one-to-one mapping. Looking at the table of values here, so I have 1, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 1, -4. I'm looking, 1 is saying it's going to 4, but then I notice the same 1, another 1, is going to -4. Well, that can't happen. I can't say, oh, here, for every $1, I'm going to give you 4 apples, but for every $1, I'm going to take away 4 apples. That doesn't make sense. So, again, this is not a function because there are two different range values for one domain value. So the value 1 has 2 different range values. A graph that consists of points that are not connected. So graphs that points not connected is discrete because it's not connected. It's just like a bunch of points all over the graph. A function graph of a line or smooth curve is continuous. So discrete would be where they're disconnected. Continuous is when it kind of flows. So at an ice sculpting competition, each sculptor's height was measured to make sure that it is within the regulated height range. So there are the measurements. Make a table of values showing the relation between the ice sculpting team and the height of their sculpture. So again, reviewing of your table. So we just make an XY table, XY, and we have team 1 is 4, team 2 is 4.5, team 3 is 3.2, team 4 is 5.1, and team 5 is 4.8. So just make a table of values. Determine the domain and the range of this function. So D, again, remember it's D and then colon, and then the brace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, brace. Range R, colon, brace, and then it's 4, 4.5, 3.2, 5.1, and 4.8, brace. So there's your domain and the range. Now write the data as a set of ordered pairs, then graph the data. We have a graph, and notice that it is a blank graph, so we need to label. So this is going to be my team down on the bottom, And then on the other side is going to be our height in feet. So height in feet, we need to make sure that we label. That's something else that students forget to do. And then so however you want to do this, my highest is 5.1. If you want to go by half, so 0.5, 1, 1.52, 2.53, 3.54, 4.5, 5. We could do that. You just got to look at your data to determine how you want to make your graph go. So then team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, you really can't see this. So team 1 had a height of 4, so up 4. Team 2 was 4.5, so that's there. Team 3 was 3.2, so somewhere in there. Team 4 was 5.1, so right above there. And team 5 was 4.8, so right about there. So state whether the function is discrete or continuous. So what some students do is they automatically, when they have points, they start connecting them. That's not always the case with some graphs. You really need to determine, does your data represent a continuous or a discrete function first before you even connect them? So we got to talk about this here a second. We have teams and we have height. Well, the team, can you have 1.5 teams? No, we do not have 1.5 teams. We have whole teams. We can't have half of teams. So because we can't have those half marks, we can't connect them, because by connecting them, we're saying, hey, there's stuff in between there, and 1.5, 1.1, 1.3, 1.5, 1.6 teams, we can't have that. So this is actually a discrete function, and we do not connect the dots because it is discrete. You can use the vertical line test, which I've already talked about, to see if the graph represents a function. So again, basically the vertical line test is take a straight vertical line. So take a pencil, a line, a piece of paper, whatever, and then just come across the graph with it, and notice that it does not cross that vertical line in any more than one spot. So only one spot, no matter how I go through that. So that is a function. Now here is not a function, here's why. So as you go, now look, do you see that it's crossing in 2 spots, there and there? And then, let me make those red so that you can see them. So, crosses here and here in 2 spots. Obviously, well before that it crossed. If I come back, and then, it crosses in 2 spots. So it hits the vertical line here and hits the vertical line there. So does not pass the vertical line test. The next one, you might think does not pass the vertical line test, but can't grab a hold of that. There we go. So yes, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But look, you think, oh, but right there, it's 2. Well, yeah, there are 2 circles here, but what do you notice about that circle, those 2 circles? One is not filled in, which means not included, and one is filled in, which means it is included. So as long as only one of those circles is filled in, then we do have a function there. So that is a function. We need to determine whether negative 3x plus y equals 8 is a function or not, and you can come up with some y value or x values and some y values if you want to see if it equals 8, or you could, like I said, just come up with some x values. So x, let's use 0. So and here's just like kind of practice and just guess and check here. So negative 3 times 0 plus y equals 8. So then I have 0 plus y equals 8. Okay, so our y value for this is 8. So 0, 8 would be a point on the line. And then I can do another one. Let's do negative 3 times negative 1 plus y equals 8. 3 plus y equals 8. So 3 plus y equals 8, that's 5. So negative 3, 5. I could keep doing this, and then you will see that it is a function, because I can't ever come up with 2 values that are going to give me the same 8. So I can have a different x and a different y every single time, and I will still be a function. All right, so you can see different representations. A table you can look at to see if it's a function. Mapping you could. Equations you could. Graphs you could. Vertical line test for the graph. Equations are the easiest to do. Step 2, find function values. So now that we know what functions are, what we want to do here is now basically we're just solving them. So the biggest thing here is knowing that we normally write it like y equals. Here we're just replacing the y with f of x. It's just notation. Please do not get confused with it. It's just taking the place of y. That's all it is doing, nothing else. It is just a representation of y. So for example, all this is saying here is that y is equal to negative 4x plus 7. We're just using f of x because now here's an x, so for every value of x, it needs to be a 2. So what does that mean? So f of 2 equals negative 4x plus 7. So that was my original problem. Wherever there is an x, I need to replace it with a 2 and figure out the new problem. So f of 2 equals negative 4 times 2 plus 7, f of 2. And all this is saying is it's just a function. Well, what if we put x in, or 2 in for x? What do we get? F of 2, x 2 in for x, equals negative 8 plus 7, and that's negative 1. So f of 2 means, hey, when x is 2, my value is negative 1. So same thing goes for the next one. What we can do here then again, so f of negative 3, and then, hey, add 1 at the end when you're done. So that's going to equal negative 4x plus 7, but then I got to add that 1 at the end. So I got to replace all of my x's with negative 3. So negative 4 times negative 3 plus 7, hey, plus 1. We got to add that 1 in the end. So equals 12 plus 7 plus 1, we get 20. So f of negative 3 is equal to 20. So hey, when I put an x in for negative 3 and add 1 to my function, I'm getting 20 as my final answer. Now, the next one is pretty funny. It's f of a. Well, what am I saying? Well, just like we did here, x was 2, x was negative 3. Hey, x is now just another variable, a. I'm just substituting the a in for x again and writing the problem. So f of a would be negative 4x plus 7. F of a equals negative 4 times a plus 7. So f of a equals negative 4a plus 7. That is it. I mean, that's our answer because I don't know what a is, so I can't figure out a times negative 4. So you go ahead and try these two problems and we will discuss tomorrow.